Hello guys and welcome to Witchcraft and Criminal History. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Well, this is just a little bit of an update video. I do enjoy doing, this channel, and I'm still gonna do that thing at 50 views. Obviously not 50 views, I mean when I get to 50 subscriptions, I will do a live session, and I probably will do maybe a couple of oracle readings for you as well. So you not only get to see me, but you also get a free reading. So yay! So keep sharing my channel. Alright, I know one thing which I don't know if this has been bothering people, but one thing I think I do deserve, you guys do deserve to know, is that with me, you probably notice that sometimes my voice goes funny, that sometimes I have difficulties pronouncing words, or I sometimes repeat words, or I have difficulties trying to speak, or go very fast, or very slow. But the reason for that is I actually have a speech impediment. That's the reason why I sound funny. I'm not doing it to be funny. Unfortunately, I have a disability. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. My voice has never worked properly. Never. When I was very, very little, I was actually a mute. And I remember when I was a young child, the doctors at the beginning thought that I was born deaf. They thought that I was deaf. However, they had a bit of a nasty shock when they tested my hearing to see whether I was deaf. Because the way I spoke as if I was deaf. But when they tested me, they found out there was absolutely nothing wrong with my hearing. So I wasn't deaf. I might have spoke as if I was deaf, but the truth was I wasn't deaf. What was wrong with me is I have, a neurological disorder, a developmental disorder. I don't know the exact name of it. My mum can't even remember what the exact disorders are called. But I know one thing I have heard when I was doing my studies is that it's incredibly rare. And for some reason with me, I attract rare disorders. Because with me, I have a coordinational problem. My left side and right side hemispheres of my brain, they do not work together. They do not communicate. And because they do not communicate, speech goes out the window, along with coordination. And this was all caused by something that I did when I was little. And it's all Santa's fault. You might ask me, what the hell has Santa got to do with it? He has everything to do with it. It was either my first or second birthday. Not birthday, sorry, Christmas. Would have been probably my second Christmas, because it wouldn't have been my first Christmas. Because my first Christmas, I would have been just over a month old. So I don't think it was my first Christmas. It's probably my second Christmas. And apparently I saw this ginormous present I saw this ginormous present, massive present, under the Christmas tree. I saw it and I knew. I was the only child. And I knew that that present was mine. All mine. I knew it was mine. And for some reason with me, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. With me, instead of doing the right thing, on my bottom, go on my butt and crawl to my Christmas present. Oh no. No. I did not crawl to my Christmas present. Nope. That was too easy for me. I wanted a challenge. So what did I do? I got from my bottom, stood up, and I walked to my Christmas present. I walked. I didn't want to bother with the crawling stage. I didn't even crawl. I was doing my butt. You can say I was a butt baby. Crawling was too much effort. I wanted to walk to my Christmas present. So I walked to my Christmas present. And consequently, because I was walking, instead of, crawling, it caused my brain to, skip a step. And because it skipped a step, my brain never learnt how to coordinate. So they couldn't communicate. And because they couldn't communicate, I couldn't speak. Even though I have a younger brother, he was crawling around like crazy. He was very, very loud. Compared to me, he was very, very loud. Fair enough, I had temper tantrums like any other child. But, he was loud, he was speaking, he was talking, he was crawling, but I never got it. I did not learn how to crawl until I was 6 years old. And this was also the time I actually learned how to speak. So I've always had a speech problem. And I know someone out there probably has saw that I've got a problem with my voice. And wished to make fun of me about it. And I tell you this right now, you wouldn't be the first, and you wouldn't be the last. Because when you got a disability, you've pretty much got a target on your back. People see the disability or hear the disability before they see you or hear you. We get looks. Like for me, when I go to the bank, if I have to go to the bank to get money or do transactions, and my voice goes, the look I get from the bank tellers is, oh, what type of drugs is she on? And look at me like, what the hell? What drugs are you on, lady? I'm not on drugs. I have a disability. And before anyone wants to tease somebody with a disability, no one, and I repeat, no one asks to have a disability. And personally, I don't like the word disability. I like to call it different. We are all different. Every human being on this planet is different. We are different and unique. However, some of us, such as myself, are more different than others. We're just more different. We sometimes have to take longer to do things. Like with me, sometimes with my speech, it's not only my speech, it's also to do with reading. So sometimes I reread the same things, which is a pain in the butt when you're doing an exam. Like, I had an exam this morning, and like there could be like a question saying, say the variance of this review. I would do could be about 6 to 8 times, if not to 10 times, go reading the variance, the variance, the variance, the variance, the variance, over and over again. Do I mean to do that? No. Do I like to do that? No. But the thing is, it's a part of my disability. I do it. Which is a pain in the butt when you're trying to do an exam. Sometimes I'm lucky I can read the whole sentence and not, rereading and rereading and rereading and rereading. It's like, at times my brain gets into a loop. It gets into a loop and I have to try and get out of the loop. And we only got 2 hours and 15 minutes to do an exam. And if you go into a loop, it's like, oh man, get out, get out, get out, get out. It's a pain in the butt. But as I said, do not judge us. If you see somebody who is different, don't stare at them. Don't go, what the hell is wrong with you? You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what it's like to be stared at and treated like a freak. You do not know what's that like. Especially if you're my generation or older. Like, when I was a young child, this was when I was in primary school, this is the early 1990s. And, prior to the 1990s, but I was only in school in the 1990s. Primary school. But they also judged me in high school as well. And they graded me by my ability to speak than my academic abilities. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. When I was a child, if you had a disability, you were considered a second-class citizen. You had little to no rights. So if a doctor didn't want to treat you, they didn't have to treat you because you're disabled, because you have a disability. You might think, oh, that's wrong. They can't do that. Oh, yeah, they can. I was lucky. I never had a doctor who refused to treat me because I was different. I did have a family friend who was a doctor. And he wanted to use me for other purposes. Don't worry, it was nothing illegal. He wanted me to infect his son. His son was the same age as me. I had chickenpox. And he diagnosed me with chickenpox. And he wanted me to infect his son with the disease. And I go, you want to give your kid the chickenpox? Bad enough, I got the chickenpox. But, he knew that the younger you got chickenpox, the better. And he wanted his son to get the chickenpox. I don't think we went to dinner that night with them. They were family friends. But, that's a bit extreme. But it wasn't just medical staff, It wasn't just doctors if they didn't want to treat you. Teachers can deny education to a child if they were born different. This did happen to me. Like with me, I never did grade 3. Never did it. Never done it. Never, ever, ever did grade 3. I skipped it. Instead of going, 1, 2, 3, 4, I went 1, 2, 4, 4. I did year 4 twice. Because my third year was denied. I was denied an education. And it wasn't anything to do with me. Like, I remember my parents getting called into the principal's office over the summer break. And over here, summer break, I think it's the same as overseas. When you got the summer break, that's the end of the school year. So it was just before the school year started. And my parents got called in. And the teacher was there. And the teacher actually looked at me and looked at my parents and said, I don't want your daughter in my class because I only want to teach normal kids. And your daughter isn't normal. Just imagine what an 8-year-old feels like. Getting told that you didn't deserve an education because you weren't normal. Like with me, what was going through my mind is, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I'm no different to my peers. They're my schoolmates. I'm no different to anyone else. Yes, I sound funny. Yes, I have sometimes am a bit slow in comprehending stuff. But apart from that, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a healthy, happy child. But back then, a teacher could deny education. And I was denied education. That's why I never did grade 3. And other things, also with people with disabilities as well, we're more prone to getting bullied. Because we're different. And with me, I'm well and truly was bullied. Majorly. Just imagine growing up in a world where people fear you. Where people hate you. Because you were born different. And it wasn't just children, it was adults as well. Teachers feared me. Other parents feared me. I always got a look from other people like I was a freak. I don't know how my mum felt when they looked at her saying, what's wrong with your child? Why isn't she talking properly? Why is she sounding so different? Which isn't fair. It isn't fair. And one thing what I learned at university, that we were pretty much forced to study a subject. And this was on the autism spectrum. Because I got ASD, autism certain disorders, I think it is. And the funny thing is, when I was studying that, pretty much all the symptoms for autism, I have. Delayed, delayed developmental stages. Developmental delays, which I definitely had. I didn't properly speak or crawl till I was 6 years old. That's a developmental delay. problems with speech, another sign of autism, fixed eyes gaze, which I also did. It took me a long time, a very long time to do the figure eight with my eyes, or to follow somebody else's finger to do a figure eight. I would look everywhere else, but I wouldn't focus on the finger. This is a sign of autism. Mood problems. Losing control of your mood most of the time, even though you might think that's normal of being a child, but also a symptom of autism. Which I also have because I kicked a teacher in the shins. Got frustrated. Got the cane. I deserved it. I admit it. I deserved it. You don't kick the teacher. Even if I had a child, and I found my child kicked the teacher, and I found that the principal or the teacher caned my child, I would go, good. The little shit deserved it. That's just my opinion. Like, I deserve it. Even if I was a child, I got caned. It was illegal in Australia. It was very illegal. You can't hit a child. Would I sue my school for hitting me? No, because I deserved it. I deserved it. I admit it. I deserved it. I'm on the teacher's side. I deserved it. I was shit. I deserved it. And another thing with me, I was very socially awkward. I don't like being in crowds. I don't like being in, groups. I like working in groups. And if I am in a social setting, more often than not, I will segregate myself. That's another sign of autism. So, and a lot of people, a lot of counsellors and all that, also believe that I am also autistic. Because I tell them things will happen to me, and thing what goes through their mind, she's autistic. You have autism. So yeah, there is a chance I am autistic. Heck, they explain why I couldn't speak properly. Can explain everything. And, and then also another thing where I am like, with autism, if you're going to have a stop it with me, you won't be able to shut me up. That is true. But with me, it's ridiculous. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. If you start me, you're never going to shut me up. And I've always been very, very focused on that. Very, very focused. I was only focused on one particular area that is also common with autism. And if it is true that I am autistic, then I would be considered as a high-functioning autistic. High-functioning. And autism is not really that bad. But, I know people say I should get myself tested for autism to see whether I am autistic. Because I do have all the symptoms. Like another symptom, I don't like noise. I don't like noise. I don't like it. If for example, if people are in the storm, they can't do it now, but let's just, for example, if they decide to have a big party in the kitchen, just down the hallway, and have big speakers on, go boom, 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 I'd be probably in my room crying. Because that hurts a lot. I don't like sound. I'm very sensitive to noise. Very, very sensitive to noise. Once again, that is part of the spectrum. There's another symptom of autism. That, their sensitivities, the senses can get overload. And when they get overload, like, go away, go away, go away, go away. And another trick what, autistics do, what I sometimes do, is sometimes just doing this. Like, that with me, sometimes I do rub my fingers now and then, like that. I sometimes, I like this a couple of times with no reason. And dealing with this, muck around like that, or like that, or, like that. I don't really do that much, but like that, or, or something like that. That is also a symptom of autism. If they call like floppy hands or flippy hands or stuff like that. That's another sign of autism. I also do that. But I mainly do this. Even when I was a kid, even, my parents would sometimes see me doing this. But that's all part and parcel of it. So that's, all part and parcel of the disorder. Like if I saw somebody with that, I definitely would think they're autistic. So there is a chance I am autistic. But if I am, I am. You can't really change things like that. You can't. But, this is a video out there. Like I said before, I do not judge us. Just because we're born different doesn't mean, we're freaks. We are not a circus animal. We are not things you gawk at. We're human beings. We have thoughts, feelings. Just because we might have difficulties communicating. Just because we could be bound in a wheelchair. Or we have to have a walking stick. Or we're in crutches. Or we have to wear hearing aids. Or wearing big thick glasses. Or use one of those apps to, help them talk when they're non-verbal. Or look different, physically look different. We're human. So just treat us with respect. We don't like it, We don't like being stared at. We don't like others thinking that we're a freak. We don't like being targeted. And yet we are. We are all the time. We're targeted. When we're very little and go to school, we are targeted. We are targeted by the people who are supposed to protect us. Our teachers. We are targeted by our peers. We are targeted by other parents. By other people's parents. All because we're born different. think first before you act when you see somebody with a disability, or you suspect they have a disability. Because they have thoughts, hopes, and dreams themselves. Just because they might not be able to communicate with it, just because they could be speaking in sign language, or have difficulties speaking, or are bound in a wheelchair, or, having the mental age of a 2-year-old, doesn't mean that they don't have thoughts or dreams. They do. We all do. We're human like you. So, yeah. Well, I know this is a bit of a touchy subject, a little bit personal, but I thought I just had to come out with it. Alright. And also, my Etsy channel is down below, so if you want a reading, go on to my Etsy channel and book in your session. And also, I have this for sale as well, on my Etsy channel. So if you want this, go over there and buy it. Alright, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and blessed be.